Okay, I have attempted this video several times. It looks like Mr. Forrest is just going to be in the video with us. So I have been wanting to do this video addressing two issues that everybody seems to have with my breastfeeding journey. And the two comments that bother me the most that I've heard over and over is, one, why are you still nursing him? That's concerning my almost 3-year-old son. And two, how could you donate milk? That's just not natural. So nursing my toddler was not something I ever intended to do. When I was pregnant, one of my friends mentioned nursing their 2-year-old, and I thought that was kind of strange. And there was comments on her thread about how it was gross and just not natural. And I too thought the same thing. I thought, why would you do that? That's so strange. And then upon more research, I started thinking, oh, well, maybe it's not that terrible if it's still healthy for them. Sure, but maybe I would put it in a cup. And then upon more research and more reading and learning that this was actually a normal thing that many people did, I started thinking, well, maybe I will just let him self-wean when that happens. I had never really been exposed to anyone breastfeeding past a year. I have come from a family full of breastfeeders. That was not something that was abnormal to me, but most of them weaned before a year. So I had never really been exposed to much bottle feeding or extended nursing, just the basic 1 year. So when I had my son, I really enjoyed breastfeeding. Well, after the rough start in the beginning, he never had a bottle, never had a pacifier. He was a great breastfeeder once we overcame a few latch issues in the beginning. He continued to nurse, and I loved every minute of it. I could never imagine myself not nursing him. And I'm a firm believer that your body knows what it needs, especially children. And he clearly continued to need it past a year. If he didn't need it to some degree, whether it be physical or emotional, he wouldn't have continued. So I really believe in self-weaning, and so far he hasn't stopped. When I got pregnant with Forrest, Tucker was 2 years old. It was right after his 2nd birthday when I found out I was pregnant. I went ahead and nursed through my pregnancy, and at 15 weeks or so, my milk completely dried up. And he continued dry nursing for 5 weeks until my colostrum came back in. And then he nursed like a newborn. He loved the colostrum. And I thought it was so amazing. Like, who can say that they've had colostrum twice in their life? And I just felt great knowing that I was giving him so much vitamins and comfort nursing. And the idea of tandem nursing really appealed to me because I really wanted the kids to bond. And I thought, well, if they nurse together and they share this bonding experience, that they will bond together. And it would make the transition from going from 1 to 2 a lot easier on me and them. So I continued to nurse through my pregnancy, but towards the end I actually started suffering with really bad nursing aversion. And the feeling of nursing was like fingernails on a chalkboard. And I felt so terrible because I hated nursing him. And that continued until a couple of weeks after he was born. And now Tucker is down to 1 nursing a day. Sometimes he goes days without it though, and he doesn't nurse on the days that his dad is home. So it is mostly a comfort thing, and I just go with it. I'm kind of at the point of not really enjoying nursing him anymore, but the idea of not nursing him is so terrifying to me and sad and heartbreaking and bittersweet that I just can't force to cut him off. So I am continuing to let him self-wean. And it definitely is the hardest thing I've ever done. Nursing a toddler is challenging, but I feel like it's worth it in the end. And at the end of the day, I still think, wow, I did something magical. I hear a lot from people that they think that nursing is not beneficial past a year. and this is not true. The American Academy of Pediatrics and the World Health Organization both suggest nursing a minimum of 2 years, and America is the only country that has this 1-year rule. The national or the world's average age for self-weaning is 4.5. So most other countries are nursing their 3 and 4-year-olds, and America just doesn't do that, and I think it's crazy. And we think it's crazy because we don't see it. Okay, go ahead. So this was definitely the hardest thing I've ever done, but saying that it's not beneficial past a year is like saying that vitamins are all of a sudden not healthy. Broccoli is good for 1-year-olds and it's good for 5-year-olds. So breast milk that's good for 1-year-olds is also good for 5-year-olds. I think it's silly to say that it all of a sudden is not beneficial. That's just crazy. And when it comes down to it, frankly, my breastfeeding relationship is not anyone else's business. I do publicize it because I do want to normalize it, but that doesn't mean I'm inviting all of these judgmental comments. Go ahead and ask me any questions that you want. I'm happy to answer. I'm happy to find you information on the health benefits, but I'm really not concerned with you thinking it's gross or weird or unnatural. If you have those thoughts in your head, you're clearly uneducated, and I really just don't have the time for it. So this is my video to just address everyone's opinions on that. So the other thing that we've had lots of comments on is sharing milk. There are so many moms that want to breastfeed and they can't. Whether their milk didn't come in, they have health issues, they adopted babies, whatever it is that the issue is, they can't breastfeed. And formula is not the best option. It's expensive, and not everybody wants to bottle feed. So sharing milk is important. And I hear all the time, that's not natural. Why are you doing that? You are absolutely correct. It is not natural to pump. It is not natural to wet nurse. It's not natural to share milk. However, neither is formula. And I just think it's a wonderful thing to do. We are meant to breastfeed, but sometimes things happen. And sometimes it's the hospital's fault. Sometimes it's nobody's fault. Sometimes it just happens. And I'm not here to judge anyone's journey on that, but why not offer the best source? You know, clearly my milk has done great for my babies. And if another mom is wanting that out there, then why would I not give that milk to them? I have an oversupply, I have an abundance of milk. So it would just be a shame to waste that. So yes, I share milk, and you are right, it is not natural. But it is one of the most beautiful gifts that you can give another mom. So why not do that? And again, this is something that I do that's not really anyone else's business. So if you have negative comments, then why do you care so much? Why do you care so much that I'm sharing my milk? So yes, these are my 2 major issues. Now, if you're watching this and you are wondering how you can donate milk, Human Milk for Human Babies is a program helping moms connect with other moms who either need milk or have milk. So they have Facebook pages, and you can go to whatever state you're in. Like I'm in California, so the page is called Human Milk for Human Babies California, and you can post that you have milk and they will, or that you need milk, and they will team you up with the person close to you. Another way to do it is to get involved in local mom groups. This is how I am personally donating, and I just post, okay, I have this many ounces, who needs it, and either I deliver or they pick up, and usually the exchange rate is just they bring you more storage bags. I would never charge a mom for milk, because the whole point of breastfeeding, not the whole point, but one of the points is that it's free, and I get the benefit of free milk, and I would love to share that benefit with somebody, so I would never charge somebody. If they want to replenish my storage bags, that's great, but I don't ask for that. It's just something that I like to do. So, and if you're wondering, I do use a hand manual pump, and I have been pumping an average of 6 ounces a day. on top of nursing him and my toddler. So 6 ounces is quite a bit if you're nursing 2 other kids. So I did about 120 ounces in 3 or 4 weeks. So, you know, it's not a crazy amount, but if you're determined and you have the time, this is a great thing to do. So yes, check out your local WIC, your local mom groups, and your local Human Milk for Human Babies. Those are what I recommend. If you're wanting to go through a milk bank to be more on the safe side, you can, but it does cost money for the person receiving the milk, and that was just something I wasn't comfortable with. So I am willing to share my blood work with anybody that wants it, but so far I've only had one mom request that. So, you know, it's just all about how you want to go through the process, but I definitely recommend researching it if it's something that you're interested in. So anyways, those were the questions that I wanted to address. So thank you, and I will see you next time.